Hello! In this video, I'll be playing through episode 3 of Interrogation. You will be deceived, illustrating how you can get a confession and win the episode, hopefully without having to resort to any sort of enhanced interrogation techniques. This is intended to help you if you're stuck, but I strongly suggest you stop the video once you feel you have what you need to finish the conversational puzzle on your own, so that you don't ruin your experience of the game. There are many ways to finish an episode. I will only be showing you one of them, so try to get back in the game and discover your own. Let's look at the case before us. In episode 3, we're dealing with the aftermath of episode 2. So we found out the password to a special room that the Liberation Front was using to coordinate their actions. And there we discovered that the Liberation Front is actually planning a terrorist attack by planting a bomb in the city mall. We know from looking at the chat room that their agent, after planting the bomb, was supposed to be at a specific location in the mall to confirm the exact place, the correct placement and the successful placement of the bomb. The only problem is, when we got to that specific location, we actually found 3 people, and 2 of them were actually in a fight. We had our first suspect, Daniel Wilson, a security guard at the mall. He's frequently visits Christian conservative websites and is an active supporter of gun rights and firmly opposes political correctness. And he was just detaining Bakil Medana. And Bakil Medana had in his possession a gun. So these 2 were in a scuffle when we arrived at the scene. Also with them, Daniel Wilson was seen talking before the scuffle between Bakil and Daniel began. Daniel was seen talking to Samantha Lau. She's an interior decorator and an animal rights activist. She's engaged to be wed in a month. How nice. Congratulations. So these 3 people are the ones that we have to deal with, and one of these 3 is a terrorist that planted a bomb. So let's see how we can do this. Let's bring them in, and we see that we have only a limited time to do this, because if we check our files and we look at the case file, we see that experts estimate the location of the bomb must be extracted within minutes if the bomb squad is to disable that device. So we're on a timer here because that bomb is gonna blow if we don't get any of these people to tell us where it is. My strategy for this playthrough will be to try to raise their empathy stat with me, because I assume that any terrorist willing to plant a bomb will not be cracking under fear if he knows that bomb has been correctly set and is set to blow. He has nothing to lose at this point, so I'll be trying to raise his empathy. Let's start with the only person that actually did something illegal at the time, which is Bakil. He had a gun. Let's see, why did he run away? And he plainly admits he had an illegal gun for his own protection tucked away. What are you doing at the mall with the gun? He says he got it for self-defense. He lives in a very dangerous neighborhood. Let's again go by our strategy, try to raise our empathy. He says that we say that we won't charge him, and our empathy raises. Okay. Let's check his file. Is he from the city? He says he lives in the slums where it's cheap, so he is clearly not very well off. Does he have any family? None in this country. He says, how about back home? Just poor farmers. His uncle works in a department store. Okay, we can ask him a very direct question. Any terroristic involvement? He states without hesitation, no, of course not. Okay, so at this point we see that Bakil is a poor man, an immigrant, trying to help his family back home. He does have an illegal gun on him. He claims to be for his own protection. Let's see what he thinks about the Liberation Front. We ask him if he's been in contact with them. He says, no, of course not. What do you think of them? He says, they are what happens when a culture's dreams become a nightmare. Okay, that's quite philosophical of you, Bakil, over there. So we're not really getting anywhere with him, okay? So let's try to get the other side of the story. Let's talk with Daniel and talk about the man he apprehended. First of all, let's see, what did Daniel think was suspicious? And Daniel just says he was being shifty. Just that look in his eyes. He asks us if we ever act on instinct. We're trying to raise our empathy with all our suspects, so we're gonna agree and say that we follow our instinct all the time, and he is very happy to hear that. Let's ask him why he acted on his own. He says his training kicked in. Remember, Daniel is a former Marine. Okay, so he's a former soldier. That's what his file says. So this confirms that. We can ask him, try to put pressure on him. Maybe he's just racist for going after an immigrant. Or we can say, good work, soldier. He got a bad guy. We're trying to raise our empathy, so that's where we're gonna go from. He nods and says, thank you. Okay, so at this point, he doesn't really have a reason for attacking Bakil. Maybe it was just luck that Bakil had an actual gun in him. Daniel didn't really give us a reason. Okay, let's see if Daniel understands his situation. He's assuming it's about the guy he put down at the mall. Well, that's not exactly correct. Let's not tell him straight off why he's here. Let's tell him it's an investigation with much bigger stakes and that is classified, but his info might be crucial. And he believes we're some sort of spec ops team, and he seems quite excited to be working with us. Okay, let's try to find out more about Daniel, since we weren't getting anywhere with Bakil. Let's see if he's from the city. He says he's born and raised. He loves this place. Okay, so he's a patriot. Okay. Where is he employed? We know he's employed as a security guard, so he confirms that. Excellent, he's not lying to us. Let's see if he was working at the shop in front of where the incident happened. Remember, we're trying to identify why were these people at that specific place that the Liberation Front chat room mentioned, so all of them must have a proper explanation for that. Let's see what Daniel's is. He doesn't have one. He was just passing by there. He's actually posted 2 floors down. Okay, that's interesting. Let's talk about his soldier past. He said he used to be with the Marine Corps. And here we see a very interesting tricky question. Did he work with explosives during his time in the military? He admits, grenades, C4, all sorts. Okay, so we can interpret this in 2 ways. He's either very honest with us, because of course any soldier would work with that. If he would have lied, then it's clear he has something to hide. But just the fact that he's telling us the truth about his experience with grenades and C4 doesn't exonerate him from being a terrorist. He still has that explosive knowledge. He still could have used that. Okay. Let's see, why did he become a soldier? He says it's about duty to protect this great country and the things in it. So he seems very patriotic. Let's try to raise our empathy with him. He says that yes, of course, duty extends to anyone affected by a potential terrorist plot. And our empathy raises. Cool. Why isn't he on active duty? He says that he had to come home, but he doesn't tell us why. Interesting. Let's change the subject and let's try to find out why did he have to come back? Maybe it was family. He says the only family he has is his mom. She's probably worried about him. Does he live with his mom? She says he does, because he's taking care of her because she's sick. Well, the medical bills must be very expensive. And he says that yes, it adds up. He states with sadness in their voice. This is because our empathy with him is very up. We've talked about his background, his patriotism. We have agreed with him. So he's a bit willing to open us and tell us about his troubles. Let's ask him how hard it is to cover the bills. He says it's quite hard. So Daniel is in a lot of trouble. He seems like a good guy. He's taking care of his mother. He's a former soldier. He's a patriot. But he has economic problems. He doesn't have a lot of money to take care of his ill mother. So let's empathize with him. Let's tell him that it's always a shame when the innocent suffer. Maybe this makes him, if he's the terrorist, this will make him feel that. He says it just ain't fair when bad things happen to random people. Okay. So our empathy with Daniel at this point is pretty high. So he will be willing to open up with us. Now if we press this question right here, we can see that he looks down and he just admits that he had to. He was forced, and we have this option here because we talked about his mother. We know that this might be about their mother. The Liberation Front might be keeping her hostage, or they might have threatened Daniel, or maybe they're just paying him. But we can make sure, we can promise Daniel that she is gonna be taken care of. And sure enough, Daniel, he's a good guy. He's a soldier. He's a patriot. He doesn't want to do this. He just tells us that the explosive is on the 5th floor. And that's that. Thank you very much for watching.